Good morning, Joanna. I'm going to put you on mute because you are streaming. You are currently only streaming on YouTube. Good morning, Mara. Thank you for joining today. Where are we going? YouTube. Perfect. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to session 10 of Deep Ministries. We are just going live. Oh, and Janice. Oh, I disliked it. That is not what I wanted to do. Hi, Jen. Good morning. All righty. Let's go ahead and get this pasted over here. And let's make sure that that is working on our streaming page. And it is. Yay! Hi. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Okay, spotlight for everyone. Perfect. And now, hi everybody watching on our streaming page. Good morning. Welcome to Deep Ministries Live, session 10. Last one, we just want to check and make sure that we are live on Facebook. Not yet. And now, yes, perfect. And Instagram. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Deep Ministries live streaming session 10. Today, we're going to start digging a little bit deeper into trust and how do you build trust. Oh, Jen, thank you. That's so sweet. You do too, baby. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. So how you build trust, why trust is vital part of dissolving poverty mentality. Good morning, Lisa. But before, oh, Mara, you're so sweet. You guys can go back for sure. But before we dig even deeper into that, for those of you who are watching my Deep Ministries live stream for the first time, let me just give you a little bit of a little bit of info, what it is that we're doing here, why you want to stick around, not only for the rest of today's stream, but also keep coming back and seeing me at 10 a.m. PST on, hi, Kimmy, on wherever you're watching me right now. So my name is Abby Levine. And actually, that's not my legal name, by the way, which is very fascinating. But I spent the last 3 years as a money manifestation coach. I've been working with healing, mindset, hypnosis, and things of that nature for 8 years now. And then about 3 years ago, I connected with my angel team so I can talk to angels. I'm an angel communicator. And about 3 years ago, my angel team told me they wanted me to start teaching money mindset. And I was very, very skeptical because before that, I'd been homeless, a homeless single mom on 4 different occasions. Before I started my business, I was actually sleeping on my friend's sofa, trying to figure out what to do with my life. So when they told me that I was going to start teaching money, oh man, I did not, let's just say I didn't give in easily. I didn't give in. I resisted for quite a long time. And then finally, I moved into money mindset. And since then, in the last 3 years, my clients have made almost $1 billion. And most of them started with less than $5,000 a month. So I'm okay. God, me and God, we have a really great thing going on. Creator, we create magic, we create absolute miracles, and it's quite fantastic to experience. But about 6 months ago, my team came in and shared with me that they wanted me to broaden my horizons outside of just money mindset. Money mindset is vital because we all need to have a very healthy relationship with money if we want to create a lucrative lifestyle that is honed in abundance. Okay. It's absolutely possible for anybody to create a lucrative income and have, lots of affluence. But in order for those of us who desire to be good people, who desire to support the evolution of the planet, we actually are at a slight disadvantage because we have to be in alignment. Now, I say we're at a slight disadvantage only because we are compelled to live in alignment in order to access our divine wealth. But once you get into alignment, it's actually really, really easy. So that's what we're here. I started a nonprofit called Deep Ministries. So once my angel team told me I needed to expand beyond just money mindset, they started to incorporate all of the different aspects that we need as humans to live a lit up, aligned life. And they had me lay them out in different tracks according to what's important to you right now. For example, some people will feel called to heal their money mindset. Like that's the most important thing. But for others, money mindset, they could give a shit. Maybe they feel really emotionally vulnerable, cracked. That feeling when emotions just like they have you batting around like this little rowboat in the middle of like a super huge storm in the ocean, right? When your emotions are just like just flowing you from one end of the spectrum to the other, and you just don't know how to manage them, and you're trying to contain them and it's not working. So we have a track for that, and then track for self-mastery and parenting and becoming a light leader, becoming a spiritual warrior. We have a track for clearing out limiting beliefs and healing past trauma. And then also we have one for living alignment, because I truly believe, and it's been confirmed to me on multiple different occasions, that we are not born to struggle, that humans are not here to live in destitution. That's not supposed to be the way. We are here to forge some undiscovered paths into the golden age of collaboration, of peace, of unity, of cooperation. And we are designed to do that with tons of wealth, tons of money. Yes, Savi, the clocks changed last night. Yes, they did. And I know yours don't change for a couple of weeks. So we're designed to live in alignment, to do and be what we came here to do, and to have lots of wealth and support, financial support. We call it resource flow in my world, but it looks like money, right? It looks like things that we need. It looks like having whatever level of luxury we desire while we are living an aligned life. So they have called that the divine evolutionary path when they're teaching it through me. So that's what I'm teaching. I'm teaching the divine evolutionary path for anyone, practical steps for anyone to move into living an evolved, aligned, abundant life. And so on Sundays, what I'm doing is just teaching the theory, just teaching the philosophy for free, because the philosophy is not the biggest challenge. Knowing what you need to do is only like a small part of the battle. The next part is like actually doing it, actually getting out of your way and doing the steps that will give you an aligned, lit up, life. You just sneezed 7 times. I'll take that as a universal truth. I'm assuming that that's what that means for you, right? Is that what that means, Savi? Cool. So we're half Deep Ministries, so Divine Evolutionary Pathway Ministries, is half education and half on the ground action. So our first project that we're working on right now is creating transitional housing for children aging out of foster care because there's a total lack of support for them, and we need them to transition nice and seamlessly into adulthood, but they have no one to teach them how. So this is a project that's very close to my heart. I spent 6 years in foster care, and I was just fortunate enough to reconcile with my mom so that when I aged out, I actually had somewhere to go. I had somewhere to go. I didn't end up homeless. About 60% of aged out fostered kids end up homeless within 18 months. And that is a horrendous statistic because where do they go then? Well, they go into gangs and then they go into jail. 80% of inmates have come, 80%, guys, 80% of inmates have come up through the foster group home system. So that's what we're doing in a nutshell. And where are we specifically is, well, we are right in the middle of track 1, which is dissolving poverty mentality. This is the one that most people feel that they need the most help with. It's like no matter where you are in your journey, you want more money. You want more resources. So most people are drawn to track 1 in order to create that abundance, that yumminess that you deserve. So we started with track 2. Oh my God, track 1. we're talking about trust. So the first few classes of track 1 were purely about what is manifestation, how do you do it, and what could get in your way, things like that. Now we're moving into trust because trust is a vital part of dissolving poverty mentality. Why? Because if you don't trust, you won't surrender. And if you don't surrender, you are going to try to control your manifestation journey until the end of time. And it's going to be futile because you cannot control the outcome. And we talked about that a couple of sessions ago about how trying to control the outcome actually can interfere and inhibit your ability to manifest. Okay. So, but before you can surrender, you need to be able to trust, because if you don't trust, you're not going to let go of the reins, right? You're not going to be like, okay, I trust you. You've got this. Whether it's to yourself or to creator or to other people, you won't delegate. You're not going to be able to do the expansive activities that are required when we are moving into an aligned place of abundance. Okay. And so just to do a quick recap of the different areas, we need to trust 3 different areas. I just mentioned them. You need to be able to trust in a higher power. Now, some people don't even necessarily believe in a higher power, and that's okay. But there needs to be something, even if it's just energy, that is operating outside of yourself or perhaps within, and you're connected to your higher soul self. But there has to be a point where you know that you don't have to be responsible for creating the abundance. When we feel like we have to be responsible for creating abundance, making money, making resource flow come to our lives, if we feel responsible for that, we won't be able to create it because we're not responsible. We don't create abundance. We receive abundance. Abundance energy just exists. We don't have to create it. Energy cannot be created, destroyed. It can only be dissipated, redistributed, right? Redistributed. I don't know why I want to keep putting another syllable on that. Okay. So You need to be able to trust an outside source. Even if that source is internal link to your higher self. Go ahead, just keep yourselves on mute, my darlings, who are in my Zoom room, just for now. So there's an energy that you can surrender to that has access to the infinite abundance that exists, right? Has access to, and also can redirect it wherever it wants to go. So that's the importance of trusting an external, like a higher power. It doesn't have to be an external source, and it doesn't even have to be like God, but some type of higher power energy that like has abundance, and then they're going to bring it. Secondly, we have to be able to trust others because we don't live in a void. We have to be able to trust others to do what they say they're going to do, to show up when they say they're going to. We need to be able to count on people in order to have our most expansive evolution. We need to be able to count on our partner or our friends. We need to be able to trust others. And then the last part of that is we need to be able to trust ourselves. We have to be able to trust ourselves, because if we don't trust ourselves, then we'll just end up stuck in the same place, scrabbling, trying to control a process that is out of our control, right? So we just end up chasing our tails, crazy, and too scared to take even one single step forward because we don't trust ourselves. And if you don't trust yourself, you'll constantly be second guessing. Does that make sense? So far, so good? Yes. Good. With me? Does that make sense so far? That was just a recap of what we covered last week. So this is the importance of trust when trying to dissolve poverty mentality. Okay, so how do we begin to cultivate trust where there is none? Well, first, before we can even try to develop trust, we actually need to move the heavy emotions. We have to release all the heavy emotions out of our body. We have to shift them out. We need room to work with the original causes of the lack of trust. We are not born not trusting. We come out of our mother's wombs totally trusting, completely open, blank slates. I mean, again, like I mentioned last time, good morning, Jen. Like I mentioned last time, yes, we have imprinting from past lives, but within our human body, we're born like very pure, very open, trusting. So there are actual events that happen throughout our life which cause our lack of trust. So the emotions from those events have to be cleared. The events themselves have to be cleared because we need to make room within our being to be able to actually build trust. We've got to get everything that created a lack of trust out so that we can bring in some new experiences that reinforce our confidence in ourselves, in others, and in Creator. So if you try to do this healing work without first clearing out a space, essentially what it's like, good morning, Georgina. Essentially what it's like is trying to clean a closet, trying to clean and organize a closet that is like packed to the rafters with stuff. Okay, so imagine that. Imagine like trying to clean a closet, you open the closet, it's packed to the rafters, you really want to organize it, but you're not going to be able to take this thing and find a place for it until you actually clean it out, right? You're actually going to have to take all the stuff out to create some space within the closet that now you can organize things the way that you want. That is a very practical example of why we have to clean out emotions. When we have heavy emotions stuck, they're like within our body, they're like wedged in there, and there's no room for us to be able to get in there and do some work. So we have to clean out some of the emotions so that we can move around and heal and release and even see, in some cases, some of this trauma from the lack of trust, okay, from the events that created the lack of trust. Does that make sense so far? Everybody who's with me? Do you have any questions about that? We're going to continue. So usually buried beneath a lack of trust are narratives, okay? Narratives, stories, programs, and remembering that our brain, our unconscious mind that powers about 95% of our day, does not tell the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, true and false, right? So if we have a narrative around why it's not safe to trust, our brain's not like filtering that for truth. Our brain isn't going, oh yeah, that makes sense or doesn't make sense about the narrative itself. Hi, Nance. Our brain just accepts the narratives that are already buried in the unconscious mind as truth. Okay, so just because there might be a narrative around why it's not safe to trust doesn't mean that it's not actually safe to trust, if that makes sense. Okay, so some of the narratives around lack of trust could be, I'll just be disappointed again. They're just going to let me down. So whether it's creator or other people, they're just going to let me down. They're not going to follow through. I'm just going to be disappointed. My hopes are going to get dashed again. Sometimes, with creator, especially, we can have a narrative that says something like, I'm not important enough for creator to be there for me, to catch me. We can have a narrative that says creator doesn't really care about me. We can have a narrative that says, well, creator is really busy managing like the other 8 billion people that live on this earth. So probably I'm not as important as those people. We might have a narrative that says there's no point. What's the point of trusting? Right? Because then I'm going to get let down, or I will get hurt again, or I'm going to get screwed over. If I trust this person, they're going to screw me over. Or if I trust creator, it's just going to sucker punch me again, right? And then our narratives can also relate to ourselves, right? Our lack of trust in ourselves can stem from, I never follow through anyway. I can't trust myself. I always get distracted. I'm so hopeless, right? When it comes to doing things that are trustworthy for myself. And the more historically that we have abandoned ourselves, the less boundaries we have drawn, the more we've allowed ourselves to be taken advantage of by others, the less we trust ourselves, right? The less we have shown ourselves that we have our own back, the less we trust ourselves. So we've got all this evidence, right? We've got all this evidence that it's not safe to trust the outside world because we have the narratives. We have whatever narratives we have. I'm going to give you an exercise so you can find your narrative, whatever it is around lack of trust. But then we also have all of these events that our brain has collected in order to prove the narrative correct. Okay, so we don't just have the narrative. We also have hundreds of events or maybe dozens of events that support the narrative. And we have fewer events that show that the narrative, that story, right? That story that's, I'll just be disappointed. There's lots of evidence of that. There's lots of events that have happened that have created that disappointment. But when the mind is seeking to prove itself right around limiting or false narratives, it is not picking up evidence to the contrary, right? It's seeking out the evidence that the narrative is correct. So let's say that the narrative is, I'll just be disappointed. Your brain searches your life, searches society, searches your day-to-day experiences to validate that narrative. I'll just be disappointed. So it'll remind you of all the times that you've been disappointed. It will show you every single time someone lets you down, where someone doesn't follow through, where someone doesn't do their job well, and you have to pick up the slack. Your mind just collects evidence, 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 evidence. And what it's not looking for, it's not seeking out evidence to the contrary. It's not looking for times where you haven't been disappointed. Because our mind is designed to keep everything the same. Homeostasis. The strongest force known to man is the innate drive for us to stay the same. So anytime we're growing, anytime we're evolving, if you are doing anything in my sphere, by the way, if you're watching some of my videos or even reading a post or two, if you're in any of the classes, if you've done any of the classes, then you are on a growth and evolution track. It's not possible to be watching this right now and not be growing in some respect in your life, okay? If that is occurring, your mind is finding ways to stop you. Your mind is constantly seeking for ways to stop you from growing because it's not safe. Why? Because its job is to keep everything the same. And if you are growing, everything is not staying the same. Does that make sense? Cool. Okay, so let me give you a little exercise because you're going to have narratives for each area of lack of trust. So you're going to have a narrative around it's not safe or I can't trust creator. You're going to have a narrative. You might have, oh, thanks, Nance. You may have narratives around it's not safe to trust creator, to trust God, to trust the universe. So finish this sentence. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple of ways to start the sentence because how accurate this will be depending on where your trust. Dan, hi, Papa Dan. Camping. Oh, that sounds lovely. And hi to the littles too, if they're camping with you. Well, hi to them anyway. Okay, so you're going to finish these sentences, but you can pick the one that resonates most closely with you. So it's hard for me to trust creator, to trust God, to trust my higher power. It's hard for me to trust because, okay, if you have some trust, then we don't want to rule that little bit of trust out. But if maybe you really don't have trust, then start the sentence like this. I don't trust creator to manifest what I want because, hey, Mom. Okay, so it's hard for me to trust creator, my higher power, fill in the blank, right? It's hard for me to trust because, or I don't trust because, okay? Fill that out and figure out all of your narratives for your lack of trust in a higher power, right? It could be something like, I've asked a million times before, and where were you? You know, like, or something like that. It could be based on past events, or it could be based on nothing at all. It doesn't need to have an event in order to be valid. Hey, Cindy, welcome. Okay, so that's for creator. And then when it comes to trusting others, it's hard for me to trust others because, fill in the blank, or I don't trust others because, or it could be something like, it's probably not black and white. I trust my partner, but I don't trust fill in the blank because, right? What part of other related, right, trust blocks do you have? What trust challenges do you have with others? It might be something like, I don't trust others because they have gone certifiably insane. Or I don't trust my leader, my company leader, or whoever it is, because they have proven not to be trustworthy. Okay. Whatever those narratives are, find them, seek them out. We need to know what they are so that we can release them. And that doesn't mean you need to know what all of them are. You're not going to know what all of them are. But when you know the top ones that are blocking you from being able to trust, then you'll be able to clear those out. Okay, cool. So your homework, oh, by the way, how did you do with your homework? Your homework was to notice where in your life you do trust and where in your life you don't trust. Did anybody do their homework? Where do you trust and where don't you trust? Okay, cool. Your homework for this coming week is to clear your emotions around trust and or lack of trust. Okay, so I will pop the what do I do with these pesky emotions video link, the class link for clearing emotions. If you've done it already, even if you've done it a couple times, you can probably clear your emotions without watching the whole class again, or you can fast forward to the actual process, the actual emotion clearing. But I want you to clear emotions around lack of trust specifically. Why? Because we are building trust. We cannot build trust. We cannot create structures to build trust until we've created some room to get rid of some of those emotions around lack of trust. Okay, so you're going to watch you're either going to watch the video or just clear your emotions around your narratives. Also, you're going to do it around the events. You can do it all at the same time. You'll probably have to do several different sittings because usually when it comes to lack of trust, there's usually a lot of events and a lot of evidence that you've got to clear: disappointment, anger, sadness, grief, helplessness, hopelessness. You've got to clear all of those really heavy emotions around the events that caused that like deep lack of trust so that we can build some structures to get to trusting, so that we can manifest whatever we want easily and effortlessly. Totally worth it, right? I know it's like dense. I know that moving through heavy emotions is really intense, but is it worth the rewards? Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah. So even though it's not pleasant, it's not comfortable, doing the work pays off handsomely. So, okay. So if you're on Instagram or any other channel apart from Facebook, but even my link is in Facebook. You can, hey, Victor, how are you? You can find links to the classes that I just mentioned, which is what do I do with these pesky emotions? The other class that I want you to do is open your heart. We need to be able to open our heart in order to receive. You cannot receive with a closed heart. It's not going to happen. Even those who have an open heart, I've noticed, still have a hard time opening it wide enough to be able to receive the amount of resource flow that the universe has set aside for them. Okay. So watch the open heart class. You can find it in my link in my bios on all my social medias. For those who are in my Zoom room, most of you follow me somewhere on a channel, so just go to the bio and you'll be able to get the links to those classes. Where else? Yeah. Oh, if you're on the streaming page, the button that links you to those classes is just below the video. Perfect. Okay, I got you all. Okay. Next, as part of your homework, I want you to make a list of the events that reinforced your lack of trust. Okay, so So it's going to take you some time, but we need to get it all down there so that we can clear all of this heavy energy out there. And if you're wondering, is there a faster way? Yeah, absolutely. The faster way is just to manifest large lumps of money. That's the fastest way. It's the shortcut. If you're looking for the magic button, it's the shortcut. I have the class. I need cash quick, which teaches you how to manifest large amounts of money in a short time. But guess what? The fast way is not sustainable. The fast way doesn't create sustained, consistent, lucrative income over time, because in order to create sustained manifestation, you have to do the work underneath. Like, you just have to. There's no way around it. So make a list of all the events that created your lack of trust and tackle the 3 sections separately, because next week we're going to start to dive deeper into how do you rebuild your trust, how do you clear your lack of trust and then rebuild your trust in Creator, in a higher power, essentially. Then we'll tackle others, and then we'll tackle ourselves. We do self-loss because it's actually the hardest one to maintain consistently, to keep trusting yourself. So you're going to make a list of events that have happened that created or reinforced your lack of trust, that you were held by a higher power. Then others, events that created or reinforced your lack of trust in others. And then events that you have done that have reinforced your lack of ability to be able to trust yourself. I also want you to be aware of your meta emotions, as I'm calling them. Your meta emotions. What are those? What does that mean? Your meta emotions are the emotions that you have about the emotions that you have. For example, if you're feeling angry at God for not holding you, then you might also feel guilty for feeling angry at God for not holding you. If you are feeling like you can't trust your partner or your coworkers or your employees, you might feel ashamed that you can't trust that you have that fear that they're going to let you down, right? You might have shame and guilt, meta emotions about your emotions. Clear those too, okay? As you're doing the clearing, make sure to clear those out as well. I know it is so funny, but it's so true. We do. And then we beat ourselves with not only just the first layer of emotions, but then the meta emotions. Then we punish ourselves for feeling guilty, for feeling angry, right? It's like, it's just such this vortex of locked up emotions that are all like interwoven and don't allow you room to maneuver and room to be expansive and room to grow. Okay. Cool. So here's a prompt that you can do to help you along with that exercise. I asked God so many times for blank, and he didn't give it to me. Oh, Sav, you had to do this yesterday around your daughter. For others, here's a prompt on doing your events with others. I trusted blank to do what I asked or to do what they said they were going to do, and they didn't, right? That might be what created your lack of trust in others. And then with yourself, usually it's around lack of follow through, right? Or lack of having your back, which is essentially kind of also nestled in lack of follow through. When it comes to not trusting ourselves, we usually think we don't know enough, we can't do it, or because we have proven ourselves to not be able to in the past, right? Usually one of those. So list out all the events that created that lack of trust, so that as we work through reestablishing trust in all of the different areas, you can fully validate and acknowledge these events, the emotions around the events, and then you'll be able to let them go. Hallelujah. Okay, cool. There's more and more clearing out of the closet. Okay, I have a couple of classes coming up that can support you in this. If you would like to do the class, I'm mad at God this week, we're doing that on Tuesday. You'll get a link in your email about that. I'm mad at God is on Tuesday. And then on Friday, we have the class Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. And you're welcome to do both of those with me and my group of wondering, spirit-led beings. Oh, my clients who I absolutely adore. Okay, cool. So here's your mantra for the week. Ready? Your mantra for the week is, I am open to witnessing evidence that it's safe to trust. We're going to begin to reticularly activate your brain to start noticing when it is safe to trust. So your mantra, I am open to witnessing evidence that it's safe to trust. Got it? I am open to witnessing evidence that it's safe to trust. Okay, and next we're going to do just a little meditation, just a really short kind of guided focus to move you internally. And after that, we're moving into our live online healing. So we actually have 4 beautiful souls on our Zoom room today. And who of you beauties would be open to being a volunteer for our live online healing portion? If you would, go ahead and just raise your hand for that. And then we are going to move into the meditation. As long as you're not driving, then go ahead and just close your eyes. Oh, we have 5 souls. Who else? Oh, Lisa is still me. Oh, I'm. Oh boy, the 5th one is me. Oh boy, more coffee, apparently. Okay, beautiful, awesome. Georgina, you're it, babe. You are it. Perfect. But before we move to working with you one-on-one, let's go ahead and close our eyes, take some nice deep cleansing breaths. And just turn your attention inward for a moment. And I want you to focus on your heart. And if you know how to, and if you can, go ahead and just open your heart center. And some of you can't, and that's okay. And some of you don't know how, and that's okay, because I have a class to teach you how to open your heart. It's in my links. And some of you, it feels like there's cobwebs and the door has rusted shut and you're trying really hard. Go ahead and find a cosmic tool that will allow you to open your heart. The importance of having an open heart is that you actually won't be able to receive what you're asking for if you don't. And just thinking about your mantra for the week and letting it move through your heart, weaving it in, bringing it in, like you can imagine it on the end of a needle and just weave it into your heart. I'm open to witnessing evidence that it's safe to trust. It's not asking you to move into trust immediately. That would be unrealistic. It's asking you to be open to some other kinds of evidence. And if the needle vision doesn't work for you, maybe you just think about taking that narrative, I'm open to witnessing evidence that it's safe to trust, and just letting it settle into your heart center. Breathing it in, breathing out any heaviness or spikiness. Heaviness usually comes from depression, despair, hopelessness, helplessness. Spikiness comes from fear, anxiety. Just if you notice any heaviness or spikiness, just breathe it through. Breathe it up and out of your mouth. Begin to create some room for yourself. And so it is. And coming back to the body, back to the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake and alert. Hi. How are you feeling? Any shifting that you noticed? Was there anything interesting or important that you noticed around that? Oh, give me a sec. Grabbing a tissue. My allergies are so kicked up today. How you doing? How you feeling? Anybody there? Everybody's quiet. It's a very reserved Sunday. Okay, Miss Georgina, I'm going to go ahead and pin you to view. And got it. And we will begin. Now, do you feel safe to put your camera on, babe?
Yeah, sure. Oh God, I think.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
Oh, I'm on my mobile. That's why it's causing me a problem. 1 second.
Okay. For those of you who are watching on Instagram, if you want to follow along on the next bit, we're doing a live healing. We do a live online healing every week with people who come into the Zoom room. And if you can't, it's totally fine.
Is it okay for me to log in and log out again? I think it's doing something funny with this camera.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll mute you. Oh, wait a minute. No. Yeah. Very strange. Anyway, we'll keep going. Yeah. So each week we do live online healing. I did do a show called, what was my show called? Metamorphosis. Oh, it was so great. And each week for Metamorphosis, we had someone who had volunteered for live online healing, and I would see them for 4 sessions, and then we would actually monitor their progress from start to finish. And one thing that I didn't care for about Metamorphosis was I didn't have any time to really explain the practical, there you are, the practical things behind why I was doing what I was doing. And so that's why I decided to and was told to start a live stream teaching theory and doing live online healing at the same time, because it was actually, I had some diehard fans that wouldn't miss it. And they were like, more live online healing. Yay. And today, oh my goodness, I'm just realizing I didn't record this. Oh dear. So, oh well, luckily it's recorded on my socials. Goodness gracious me. So I can do something with it. Hi, Georgina.
Hello.
Thank you for being our live healing volunteer today. So tell me a little bit about what's going on with you, babe.
Especially around trust. I think this is really resonating with me. I've had several issues over my experience where I've had people that I feel like I've loved and they've broken that trust that I've had with them. That's come down to relationships, family, people I've hired. And it's like I'm starting a new business and I'm struggling to hire people because I didn't realize what was holding me back. And I'm starting to realize but I'm really, really independent because of all of the experiences I've had. I was recently reading something where I kind of resonated with this concept of being hyper independent because I'm realizing that's me. I literally don't ask for do it myself. So I'm trying to know that this is not the path I want to keep going down, and I'm trying to heal. And so that's where I'm stuck at.
Is the hyper independence, and how do I actually move outside of it to begin to create trust? Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you what your trust is like? What are your spiritual or religious beliefs?
Raised Catholic, but I'm more now just spiritual in the sense that I believe in source, I believe in God.
Got it.
I nurture my own relationship with.
Beautiful. Raised Catholic, spiritual. So we can say God, and that's not going to trigger you.
Yeah.
Cool. That's and you also refer to source God. Okay, cool. Beautiful. How is your trust in source?
How's my
trust in God?
I trust in God. I don't know why I don't trust in myself, or I don't trust in this circumstance. I don't know, it's a weird one. I trust myself because I know I'm very strong and I've gotten through a lot, and I trust that God's always been there because I've gotten through a lot. So but for some reason going to the next stage of where I want to go, I'm struggling to trust in
Sure.
God.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really insightful for you to know that. So let's see if we can root out some stuff that's going on. Excuse me. So finish the sentence for me. I trust in myself because
I'm very strong.
I don't trust myself to take the next evolution because
I get easily distracted.
Okay. I don't trust myself because
I don't complete the things I really want to do.
I don't trust myself because
I haven't done it before.
Okay. Beautiful.
Bless you.
Thank you. I haven't done it before. Okay. Gorgeous. And I bet that there are like tons of people who are watching right now that could really resonate like with those ones, with those narratives. Okay. Let's see. I trust God to
Be there for me.
I don't trust God to
figure it out for me.
Got it. Yeah, good job. I don't trust God to
give me what I want.
Mm-hmm. I don't trust God to give me what I want because
it doesn't always happen.
Sure. Yeah, Jen says she can totally relate. Independent for a reason. Yeah, absolutely. Always happen. Okay, beautiful. Okay, now let's root out trust in others. I trust others too.
Disappoint me.
Beautiful. I don't trust others too.
Support me.
I don't trust others too.
Believe in me.
I don't trust others too.
Be there for me.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, it seems like you were spot on. This is an area that you might need to work on. Yeah, I absolutely would agree with that. And there's nothing wrong with knowing that you have these areas to work on, because knowing it means that you can actually do something about it, right? And now you know why it's important to do something about it. So you are exactly where you need to be right now. Okie dokie. Okay. So this stuff is going to take some time for you to unwind, Georgina, simply because I can feel how much evidence there is behind your reasons for the lack of trust. There's lots and lots of events that have deeply entangled emotions, deep disappointment. But there is something that is coming out to me that stands out above your lack of trust, which is your tendency to expect yourself to behave in a manner that is perfect. And it can be labeled as perfectionism, but I think that perfectionism is a bit narrow for the density of this tendency to expect everything that you do needs to be perfect. Everything that you needs to be exactly. It's not even perfect. It needs to be exact. And the reason that I can see that is it is reflected within your connection to those outside of you. It's your expectations of people outside of you borders on fantastical, because there's so little room for mistakes.
Okay.
So because there's so little room for mistakes, and that's not to say that you're not a compassionate and empathetic person. I can see that you are. You're a very compassionate and empathetic person. However, there's still this reflection onto others, which is you need to meet my expectations. And when you don't, you disappoint me. And the reason that that exists is because it exists within yourself.
Okay.
You have a level of expectation for yourself that borders on make-believe.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I have high expectations of myself. I'm not sure if they're make-believe, but I do have high expectations.
Sure, I'm telling you they're make-believe. You don't have to believe me. The reason that they're make-believe is because you think you can achieve perfection and you can't. So you're like, no, it's not make-believe. Like, this is a real thing. I can achieve perfection. And every time I don't, that's just me letting myself down.
Yeah, true.
As opposed to it being you believing something that doesn't exist. It's not possible for you to be perfect. Therefore, you will not be able to do things perfectly.
Okay.
Does that create any anxiety around as you're moving into your new business? Does that create any anxiety around taking action?
Yeah, I'm I doubt myself because I feel like, oh, you're not ready yet. You need to keep doing something till you're ready.
Why is that? Why do you have to keep doing something till you're ready?
Because it's a completely new area.
Sure. And because it's a completely new area, there's so much to do because I can't launch until
everything is perfect.
There you go. You seemed like you didn't necessarily believe me, but you respect me enough to go along with it. But I just wanted to reflect it back to you so you can see. Yes, absolutely. Because I can't do it until it's perfect. And how will I know when it's perfect? Because I've never done it before.
Yeah.
Right. So it's got you chasing your tail a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So how do we begin to unwind this perception of yourself? Okay. It goes deep. It goes real deep. It goes back into childhood where it wasn't safe to be fallible. Like you had whether it was projected onto you from an outside source or you took it on for yourself, making mistakes was not safe emotionally or didn't get you the support or reinforcement that you needed at the time. Is any of this resonating for you?
It wasn't, I guess it wasn't, it was more, I think I took it on that I had to be strong for everybody. I had to be the one that carried everybody's. And I don't know why I adopted it, but I adopted that persona for everyone.
Wow. Yeah. Be strong for everyone. Okay.
I had to fix it. I'm very good at fixing.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So you're probably the glue, right? In your family. You're the one who keeps everybody together. You're the diplomat too? Like, are you in charge of solving conflict?
Everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay. That means that there is some unseen resentment that has been building within you for a long time. And I'll walk you through how I know that so that you can get on board with me. Okay. So, as your little self took on or got the message, it's my job to carry everybody. It's my job to be strong for everybody, right? You just said that. Okay. So you carried everybody and you be strong for everybody. You became the solution finder. You became the fixer, the mechanic, anything that was wrong. People come to you. People go to Georgina. She always knows what to do. Right. Okay. So you had to be strong. It is impossible to avoid getting exhausted from creating that kind of paradigm. Now, you did not create that for yourself because you didn't come out of your mom's womb going, I will fix it. That was gradually trained in you probably from a young age. I'm guessing probably because you were pretty smart. So there was probably a lot of pressure placed on you. Like, well, Georgina's really smart. She's got this, she'll figure this out type of thing. Yeah, totally. Okay. So you're exhausted. You're constantly depleted as you move through life. And then there comes a point in time, usually around your teens, but we start to notice, wait, the fuck? No one else has to carry this. Wait a minute. No one else in my system has to carry this, my family system. Wait, why am I the one? Wait, how did I get loaded down with all of this, right? We have an awareness that something isn't right and we're the only ones that are responsible. And that moment that awareness comes in is when resentment starts to build. And it builds silently, it builds quietly because the louder narratives are saying things like, well, this is your job. Well, you're the only one in your family who can do this, so you have to keep doing this. Or me, this is my job. My family would not be okay without me being the one who carried everything, right? And how terribly selfish it would be if I let my family try to figure things out for themselves, right? And all these narratives that override this deep resentment that starts to quietly build. Once you get into the outside world, you're already exhausted and depleted from carrying so many people for so long. But as you get into the outside world, you magnetize the same types of people because you're a caretaker and we attract dependents. So your pattern for attracting people and your signaling to those people who are looking for caretakers match, because that's what you've been groomed to do. You attract dependents. How do I know? Because historically, me too. So the dependents see you and go, you, whether they're employees that you hire or contractors that you work with or friends or, coworkers or bosses or coaches, you will magnetize dependence because you have the caretaker patterning. Okay. So that's when your resentment starts to physically manifest as disappointment, as what the fuck, as think for yourself. You have a brain. Like, you got to this point in life without me having to think for you. Can't you just carry on? And it starts to manifest with anger or irritation, or like avoidance is a big one. Avoidance is a really big one because avoidance makes us just do it because it's easier rather than telling them that they have to do it, right? We just pretend that the problem doesn't exist or just do it or like, ugh. But that builds even more resentment. Okay, so that reflection within people around you that they're going to let you down, that's where that comes from. It comes from that resentment. I mean, your expectations in people are, can't you just adult? Like, I have to. I've been adulting for like such a long time now. Can you not do it? Right? Think for yourself. Can you adult? Why do you need me to carry you? Yeah. And it's rooted in your high expectations of yourself, which seems to have at the root of it, well, I should do this because I'm the strongest. Like, I'm stronger than them. I'm stronger than you. I'm stronger, more solution oriented. You seem like you're lost in your helplessness. So I'm going to come in and help you move some pieces around. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Whether solicited or unsolicited, we are there to the rescue. Okay. So it begins with, so this is where it begins. It begins with developing the belief that people will be okay if you stop carrying them. Have I not been streaming? No, I'm still streaming. Okay. So we need to start cultivating this belief that people are going to be okay. If you let them think for themselves, they're going to be okay. And that things are going to be okay if you stop doing everything for people. And so it starts there on developing this belief, this idea that not only can you not control someone, that it never was your job to control their outcome. And it's not because you're trying to control them because you're a super controlling person. No, it's that, if you have the reins of the situation, it'll come out better. It'll come out more preferable. So that's why we try to control. And so when we let people take the reins of their own lives, we're empowering them to learn how to do it without us. And they deserve to have that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Tell me what kinds of feelings come up when we start talking about detaching from your belief or that tendency to try to solve people's problems.
I think I'm already there because I mean, I think I was forced into having to. My awareness didn't come at teenage years. Unfortunately, it came when I had my kids, and I realized, ooh, I think I've been carrying too much, because by then I had to carry kids as well, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I have the strength to do everybody's. And then that, you're very right. I started building the resentment. I tried talking it through, wasn't working, because I realized people had a belief of the way I'm supposed to be, an expectation of how I was supposed to be, and it was difficult for them to accept that I can't be that way anymore. I think I was forced to just detach. It wasn't like a choice. I literally don't have the bandwidth. So that's where I'm at now. But it's caused a lot of issues because people still have their expectations, I feel, about.
Yeah. Absolutely, they would. And I'm sure that they were very displeased when you decided that you were done playing that role.
And
Yeah.
it's hard not to, because I have to hold myself. I'm like, nope, you can't. You've got to start taking care of yourself. Like, you stop. But yeah.
It's so hard. Oh, it's so hard because the knee-jerk reaction is, well, I can already see what the answer is. Like, I can already see what the solution is. Let me just come here and I'm just coming into it. Yeah. Okay. So when I'm talking about detachment, I'm talking about more of a open-hearted, loving detachment that has trust laced into it, but doesn't try to control the outcome. So it's hands off, but heart open. So right now, with the people that you have physically detached from, probably your heart is closed. And you certainly don't trust that they're going to be okay. Like, well, I can't say that. Do you? Do you think that they'll be okay?
I think they'll be. I'm not sure our relationship will be okay, but I think they will be okay.
Okay. You think they'll be okay? Okay, good. Beautiful. Okay, so let's dig deeper into it because we've got two beliefs. We've got a narrative here that says I can't trust people. They're not going to be able to support me. They'll just let me down. And then we have a narrative over here that says, well, no, they'll be fine. They won't necessarily let me down. So which one, or do you think it's different in different scenarios?
I think it's different. I believe they'll be okay without me, but I can't believe that they can't see when I need support. So
Sure.
I've developed the belief that, well, I can't trust people because I've given and people don't give back. So
There it is. I give and give and give, and people don't give back. So the trust is not in people in general. The trust is more in people to be there for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So the thought is really, I don't trust people to be there for me.
Yeah.
Because they historically haven't been. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important? Do you think it's important that you trust others to be able to be there for you?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you can't do it by yourself. I've realized that. I'm good at it, but it doesn't let you.
Yeah.
If you want to build a business, I need a team. I have to be able to trust them that they can do that and they're going to be there. Even in family life, you need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah. With your business, you won't be able to grow beyond yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you'll absolutely be able to grow, but you won't be able to grow beyond yourself. You won't be able to be your fully expansive self. Yeah, there's going to be various levels of trust exercises and work that you're going to have to move through because Because when you're expanding, letting go of the reins is a vital part of the process. And that means fully trusting that someone is going to do their job without you having to micromanage them. And that means letting your business grow beyond your reach, beyond your control. And that's going to feel very scary. Each level that you up level with that, it's going to feel really, really scary. Just to let you know. So you're aware when it happens. You're like, oh. Okay. How close are you to needing people in your business in order to be able to expand beyond yourself?
Urgently.
Okay, so we'll start with that then. Because I was wondering if it would better serve you to work on your trust in yourself, but
I think trusting in myself is because I feel like that's where the core of the problem starts with, is that I've got to be able to trust myself. Then I can then go, it extends outwards to other people.
Sure. So it actually feels more important to work on trust within yourself. Okay. Thank you for reflecting that trust self. Okay, let's work on that. Okay. So when you're ready, just go ahead and close your eyes. Take some nice deep cleansing breaths. I'm going to count you from 5 down to 0. And at 0, you'll find yourself in just a space, a neutral space where you are secure and protected. Nothing can get into this space. No one can get into this space. It's just you. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And when you find yourself within that space, nod your head for me. Good. Okay. Now I'd like you to invite into the space with you the part of yourself you don't trust. And when that part is here, nod your head for me. Good. How does that part show up to you?
Teenage girl.
Okay. So a teenager. Okay. Now let's invite into the room the part of you that doesn't trust. And when that part of you is present, good. And how does that part of you show up?
It's an older woman.
What is the energy of the teenage part like?
She's quite stubborn.
Sure. What about the energy of the non-trusting, the older?
She's weary.
Oh, weary. Okay, perfect. So let's turn to the weary one first. The part of you that doesn't trust, and ask her what she needs.
She wants to sit down.
Yeah. So I want you to imagine that there's a place somewhere near that she can just do that she can just sit down. And then let her sit down. And when she's sitting, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. And what else would she like? What else does she need?
Some Just some water.
Oh, good. Just imagine, since this is your place, you could just manifest some water for her and let her quench her thirst. So let her have all the water that she needs. Imagine that the glass just keeps filling up indefinitely until she is quenched. And once she's quenched, nod your head. Good. And what else? What else does she need?
She wants to stop making decisions.
Great. So why don't you take that from her? Take the list of decisions that she has to make, or the book of where the decisions are, and just, you know what? Let's go ahead and bring God in too. When God is here, nod your head. Good. Just let her hand the book of decisions over to God. How does that feel?
Feels relaxed.
Good. And just tell God you're here. Like anytime they have stuff to tell you, stuff that you need to do, you'll be a vessel. You're going to turn decisions over to him, to them. And you'll just follow intuition. And how does God respond?
Finally.
Good. Beautiful. Okay. What else does the weary part of you, what else does she need?
She wants to sleep more.
Good. Tell her, okay, good. Let's sleep more. How does she respond to that?
She's smiling.
Oh, God.
She's wondering, is this real? Can I have anything?
What do you think, Georgina? Can she have anything she wants?
I guess so.
Well, ask God. Maybe you don't have the answer to that. Let's ask God. Can she have anything? Can I have anything I want? How does God respond?
Oh.
Always. Yes, of course. Always. And more than what you want. Yes. Good. Beautiful. Is there anything else the older pot needs from you?
Just she wants to travel.
Good. Will you go traveling with her?
She's got another bag she wants to give God. She didn't give all of it away.
Ah, perfect. Let's go ahead and just let her handle any remaining bags over.
She'd like to.
Good. Beautiful. Anything else that she needs?
She wants to dance and have fun.
Okay. Can you get on board with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
That's it. She's kicking her legs.
Cool. Let's just put some loving energy around her and let's invite the universe, God, to completely refuel and re-energize her. while she's sitting here. And we're going to talk to the teenage part. So the first thing I want you to do is ask the teenage part of you, do you have anything to tell me? Do you have anything to share with me?
She says she's not ready.
She's not ready for what?
She's not ready to stop. She's going to be herself.
She wants to be herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does being herself entail?
It's got to be her way.
Her way. So I want to pause and I want to ask you, Georgina, has her way worked?
50-50.
Okay. So I want you to tell her that she might not have all the right answers. How does she respond to that?
She says she knows.
Okay.
But
So
who does?
right. Fair. No one does, exactly. So she wants it her way, but her way only works 50% of the time. Can she see that this is unreasonable?
She says, show me a better way then.
Okay. Well, the easiest way is just to ask God or intuition. God intuition gives you every single step and it's always right. And it's always on your highest, most evolved path. What does she think about that?
She says we did.
And?
She said, but sometimes he does. He listens. Sometimes they speak. Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes who speaks?
Source.
So your teen does not trust source to always have the answer. Is that what's going on? Okay. And when source doesn't give you an answer, then your teen becomes kind of pushy, kind of demanding, wants to take over, wants to take control, starts to feel unsafe. Is that what's happening? Okay. Doesn't always have the answer. Okay. So turn to God and tell God, well, this teen part says sometimes you don't answer. What is the purpose of those times? What am I supposed to do in those times?
Wait.
Instead of trying to force it. Yeah, okay. Wait for the answer. Got it. So tell your team what God says. How does she feel about that?
She says, but we've got to be moving. We've got to be in movement. We've got to be doing stuff.
Well, show her the older version of you who has been completely depleted by this constant need to move. Show her that this past behavior of always being on the move has not been effective. And how does she respond to that?
She's quiet.
She's taking it in.
Mm.
Okay. So we're going to invite her to turn her bags or the reins. It doesn't even feel like she has bags. It feels like she has control, like she has the wheel or the reins. We're going to invite her to turn the reins over to God. And she doesn't have to do it now. We're just going to invite her to consider it. What that's going to look like, Georgina, is that from this day forward, you're practicing, you're cultivating, you're gaining trust in your connection by looking for your answers from source rather than trying to force them in order to constantly stay moving. Okay? So we're just bringing all three parts. So that's your teenage part, your older part, and this part, the part of you that's witnessing all of this, the you. We're inviting all three parts to try things slightly different way. And that when you do turn things over to God and you don't get an answer, what are you going to do differently next time?
Right.
That's it. And how's that feeling for you?
It's coming up. Do we have the time?
Ask God, do you have the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So, is it okay to try this?
Yeah.
Good. And instead of staying constantly busy, what can you do differently?
Take more time to rest.
Good. And what kinds of things can you do to rest?
Walk more, sleep more, have fun.
Yes, dance perhaps. Travel a little perhaps. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to take time for the teenager part of you to unwind this way of being because you've spent your entire life being this way. So we're going to invite grace into the process because you're not going to be perfect at it right away. Is that okay?
Is that okay?
I know you don't care for it. I know you would prefer to be perfect at it today, but unfortunately, that is just not how we work as humans. Good. So let this kind of sink in through your skin, into your bones. There's a lot of movement that we've opened up. So there'll be some processing. You might have some things that are a little bit confusing to you in the meantime, and that's okay. It'll be fine. Just witness them. But just let this settle through your skin into your bones. And there'll come a moment where it'll just click into place. When that happens, nod your head for me. Good. And if you would like a reminder of this, perhaps you could have a mantra that sounds something like, I'm trying a new way. Every time you start to feel guilty for resting, or you forget to rest, or you rest and the teenager in you is telling you, is looking at her watch and, time and things like that, you'll just respond back to whatever part of yourself is trying to stress you out. You'll just respond back to that part. I'm trying a new way. It's an experiment. It's a practice. It's a new behavior. It'll take a little time, and that's okay. Coming back to the body, back to the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake, and alert. Hi.
Weird.
What's weird? Tell me. Tell us.
No, I actually saw the people. They were in the room with me.
Right? Yeah. It's kind of strange. Yeah. And they were real. And there's no question that they're real and that those people are like part of you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny. You can see the old ladies where I'm headed. This just felt like that's where you're headed if you don't.
Bend your ways.
Hmm.
Yeah, sure. Sure. How are you feeling now?
Relieved.
Yeah.
A little bit lighter, actually.
Yeah. Beautiful. Good. Relieved. Why do you think that is?
It was nice to hand the bags over.
Yeah.
There were a lot of bags. They were pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Got it. So you're feeling kind of that general release of turning over the bags. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Well, definitely keep us posted of how that turns out for you and what changes and shifts you feel in your life because of it.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for volunteering to be our healed person today. Well, certainly not, you're not done with it, okay? But you're at least you started laying the foundation of what it's going to take in order to become a more trusting version of yourself.
What can I do to continue to? Do I just continue to every time just repeat my mantra?
Repeat your mantra. I am going to be teaching classes on how to more deeply develop trust with each of these different entities. So watch out for those. And also just keep practicing. Like a practice that you can have is every time you move into self-doubt, another thing that you can say is, I can trust myself. I'm open to showing myself that I can do this. And you'll just start to cultivate more and more confidence in your ability to trust yourself. Yay! Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Bye. Ooh, that was so good and so perfect, especially because we are in the middle of a Working on Trust series. So I so appreciate you, Georgina, for letting us kind of showcase what it looks like to dive more deeply into cultivating trust. So we'll be back next Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me or one of my team. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you so much for joining. And so we're going to stick with trust until we've covered kind of all the philosophy around developing trust and things like that. So you got your homework. You need to clear out those emotions and open your heart so that we can start to do some of the practical work of regaining trust. Yay! Check your emails. Keep an eye on your emails for the 2 classes that we have coming up. Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. PST and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate you for being present today. And I will see you next week, if not before. Love, love, love. Bye.